Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. A quick overview for where are we on the daily chart. Here we have finished, of course, our bull run was a big wave one here toward the upside, and we're looking, of course, for a short, a bearish scenario right now, which can be, of course, an A, B, and a C toward the downside. We have finished a wave A in 3 waves. And we are looking, of course, for a wave B potentially that it might still, of course, unfold as an expanding flat. Based on the time required for wave A, of course, we still need potentially to range a little bit more for wave B here. However, the wave B as well can still be finished as a running flat here as A, B, and a C, or potentially even that a wave B of B is still expanding, meaning that we have here 3 waves up, 3 waves down to look for still, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 again for a wave B to finish this wave B, and then moving again toward the downside, of course, for a wave C here. Don't forget that we are currently in a correction. A correction is, of course, not like a bull run or like an impulse toward the upside. It is, of course, a very complicated structure that it might unfold, especially in this area in the middle of the correction. Of course, where are we currently? So we don't know how this wave B is gonna unfold potentially. Well, basically now we have just a clue that it might be, of course, an expanding flat, and that this expanding flat might unfold in 3 ways as well, and then moving toward the upside, or even finish as 3 waves here. It can be W, X, and Y for 3 waves again, and then moving for higher for a wave C. So yes, we don't still have any clue. Potentially even it will tell us later on that, okay, the wave B was finished here, or it can be even finished here. Why? Because, of course, here you have 3 waves inside it, where you can say, okay, a wave B has finished here, and now we're moving into a wave C, and the wave C can transform to something very impulsive, potentially. However, yeah, this is not really impulsive inside it on the micro, but still can be. Don't forget as well, yesterday we saw, of course, some price action here, finishing as ending diagonal somehow, in case, and we finish a running flat. A running flat is a start of an expanding flat, of course, expanding wave B, and then finishing 5 waves, failing to take, of course, the high. Since we see, of course, potentially 5 waves as an ending diagonal, it might, of course, finish a running flat here for the wave B, and then moving towards the downside. We're gonna see this much more in the micro, but I like to explain it a little bit in an overview to understand a little bit the bigger view of what we are doing in the micro. Sometimes it is nicer, of course, to see it in a bigger picture. On the 4-hour chart, we have several scenarios. Of course, we're gonna start with the most possible one where we were looking yesterday, of course, that it might, of course, be unfolding. And of course, potentially looking for a WXY in a wave B here, and looking for the wave B to finish, of course, in this blue box, of course, as W, X, and a Y toward the downside. The wave Y can be another structure, a zigzag, potentially, and finishing, of course, inside this blue box, and then moving up again for a wave C and a wave B. Meaning this expanding flat might, of course, get in a bigger picture again, and of course finishing a wave B toward the upside, or potentially your wave B is done and finished. Meaning, in this case scenario here, where yesterday we were looking potentially for a leading diagonal. Now don't forget that we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your wave 5 didn't took the high, but of course a leading diagonal can have a short wave 5. Don't forget this. And this can, of course, be a leading diagonal or an ending diagonal. And that means ending is you have 3 waves up, 3 waves down. You finish 5 waves failing to take the high. And especially with a truncated wave 5, meaning, yes, it's a much more indication that we are in a running flat potentially, and we are reversing the market toward the downside. So potentially a wave B can be finished here as a running flat and then moving toward the downside. Don't forget that the time required for this has been past the 0.38. So it is more, potentially it is quite good to move toward the downside in a wave B. Yeah? So potentially. So we're gonna see, of course, if we pass the fib levels here, therefore, of course, we are moving directly for a wave C, meaning this was your wave B here. If not, if we start to retrace from these fib level, we still have to consider, of course, that we have 3 waves down here, 3 waves up, and then potentially, of course, another zigzag between the fib levels for a wave B, which is this scenario, of course, and then moving toward the upside. Those are the highest possibility right now, guys. Unless, of course, for the bullish, still, of course, has some potential, the bullish, in case that this ending diagonal becomes a leading diagonal for wave 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5 to continue the wave C toward the upside. So what we have to test next, of course, is the fib levels here for a wave 2 as well. So, of course, there is always bullish and bearish. I know that the highest possibility right now is for the bearish, but if we come to this area, the 886, and we hit again the 886, and we move towards the downside. But if we retrace from those green levels, it is very, very possible as well to start a new impulse, which is, of course, in a leading diagonal. It can be with a truncated wave 5, and then moving for a wave 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5 towards the upside. So to be retested, of course, in this area in case we move down, because as well, it can still be in a 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't forget this. We are still inside the triangle. We did not break it. This is from yesterday on the 1-hour chart. Let's move to it. So we are in potential here, an X, as we said, an X, and this is your, W, X, and a Y, this is your X unfolding potentially. In case we are in W, X, and a Y, we are still inside this triangle, so we are in A, B, C, D, E, and then moving toward the downside. If we're moving from now, then therefore, of course, something else is unfolding. It could be still, of course, the 1, 2, 1, 2 scenarios that we already have, and we still have to break this, guys. If we don't break this level, right? If we don't break this level, we are still potential bullish. Potential still bullish. 50%. We are still sideways. Unless we take this low here and we move to the downside, then therefore, of course, the bearish scenario start to get higher and higher possibility, and of course you would like to break the first wave 2 here. Let's put actually this one. Here we go. So we have several levels, guys. First, if we are, let's say, in 1, 2, double 1, 2s here, okay, but very, very low possibility, unless this transform is 3 waves. And then, of course, if we break the 80K 400, then therefore this 1, 2 is gone. Then if we move further toward the downside, then we have to experiment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave 1, wave 2 here, of course, and then to see if it moves for higher. So, of course, the aim is toward the downside. We are in a bear market, but we still need this wave C for a wave B in a bear market. Yep, so we're gonna see what's gonna happen, guys. We're gonna update, of course. That was it for Bitcoin.